Hello. Is it all working? I think so. Yay! Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is you want to say. I feel like I say that every single time. Welcome to another MCreator stream. Part of Project Ruby. Today, I don't really have much time. I really just have until like 6, maybe 6:30, to work, so I'm gonna cut the chit-chatter and just get right to work, because there's a couple of things I want to get done today. So, last time I streamed, I think it was Monday night, or it was Tuesday night, we made this guy. And it is quite devastating and powerful. Even your most powerful elemental powers barely does anything against this guy. I missed. Yeah, I'm just getting absolutely demolished. This guy is proving to be very difficult. And he has a ton of HP on top of just the normal things. So, we got this guy in game the other night. He's very powerful. And we gotta fix that. But the problem isn't, I don't think the problem is with the current equipment, or is with the current mob. I think the problem is with our current equipment. See, right now, our base attack damage is only 2. Even though we have the elemental powers, yeah, this thing only has 2 attack damage at base. And that's intentional. We're going to be getting a sword upgrade by the time you're ready to fight this tier of enemy. If that makes sense, let me just recap. Every single enemy that we're making in this game has 4 tiers: basic, advanced, elite, and supreme. And the guy I just showed you and got obliterated by, that's the supreme variant. So the idea is, by the time you're ready to fight the supreme variant, yeah, by the time you're ready to fight the supreme variant, your gear is a lot better. Elemental powers are all going to be at max level. You're going to have all the abilities available. So it's just, yeah, so during that test, I noticed a couple of bugs that I'm hoping to squish out today. The first of which, the biggest of which, is with this, the element of ice. This is our primary focus today. So, fighting this guy normally is just not realistic at all. But fighting him with the element of ice, he's very much manageable. I'm just doing circles around him, trying to avoid attacks. Just waiting for my abilities to come off cooldown. Now I can freeze him. And he goes down no problem. No big deal there. I can't defeat him without that power. Without being in the cold biome. I tried a dozen attempts the other night, and it's just, yeah, similar results. So the element of ice is very overpowered. And this guy is just absolutely obliterating me. So what to do about that? We need to figure out what's going on with the elements. What's going on with this fight. I'm able to do it super easily with ice, and I can't do it with any other element. And this might seem a little bit like counterproductive, but I don't think the problem is the enemy itself. I think his values are fine. The damage values are absolutely insane. The enemy itself is pretty much where I want him to be. I think it's the elemental power that's not doing well. So that I'm pretty sure is bugged. So it's not in here. Where might it be? I think it's in here. Yeah. So let's see. Short circuit doesn't seem to be working. Or at least it doesn't seem like it's working. But the biggest problem isn't with the element of water, it's with the element of ice. And it's this here. This potion effect. The chilled effect. That I think is bugged. And I think it has to do with this. So during the test, I've been thinking a lot about this and why this isn't working properly. And why it's so easy in the cold zone and not at all easy anywhere else. It's because this damage multiplier is stacking with this one. You see, when you use an ability with the element of ice, it gives that entity the frozen status effect, which freezes him, and it also gives him a damage multiplier. So that way any damage that he takes is doubled. But on top of that, your melee attacks are also inflicting the chilled status effect, which is adding on to it. So these are adding on, is my theory. And because of that, you're getting a 2.5 damage multiplier, which if you factor in crit, that's times 3 damage. So that's why I think the damage multiplier is so high. So we're gonna remove that for now. I'm nerfing the damage multiplier of the frozen effect to 1.5. Simple as that. Now for abilities, there's a couple of abilities that inflict the freezing effect. The first of which is Shot Punt, which is somewhere near. Here we go. Oh, it's not going to be here, is it? It's going to be here. Edit. Alright, so I want to repurpose the chilled status effect. The chilled status slows down mobs, if memory serves correctly. Yeah, frozen does that. Chilled as slowness. I don't think this is needed anymore. Yeah, that's not needed. Chilled adds slowness to the target. So that's fine. So what I want to do is I want to make the chilled effect increase the duration of time that mobs are frozen for. But how to do this in a balanced way? So currently... No, that's the wrong place. Let's see. Hello. We're just not gonna have anything there. Let's see. Where is Ice 1? There we go. We're gonna remove this bit. Save that. Save that. Let's see. So this is frozen for 3 seconds. Ideally, we make it if the player, or if the mob is chilled, then they freeze for longer. That's my idea. Let's see. Have active potion effect, chilled. So this will be 100 seconds then? Back down to 60. That should do the trick. And that's just for Ice Shot. We have to do the other abilities as well. So Ice Shot freezes. I don't know if Ground Pound freezes. Let's just check. Where is Ground Pound? Where is... Okay, so this is the Ice Ground Pound. That doesn't chill. Or that doesn't freeze. So Ground Pound doesn't freeze. Explosion definitely does. That's Explosion button. Here we go. A little bit of lag. But basically we want to come down here. And basically we want to add an if else. And we're checking if they have an active potion. $60. And then we just kind of add this. Wait, were these leveled? They were. What does level do? What does the levels do? Frozen. Triggers. Edit. I don't think the levels do anything. So that's fine. So if the target is chilled, then they're frozen for longer. If not, then they're just frozen for the normal amount of time. That should work. So that's explosion. Ben should also be the case. Hi, Jeffrey.
Have you seen my wallet?
I don't have it. Okay. Jeffrey looking for his wallet again. How embarrassing. So that works. Duplicate that, slot that in. Really simple. So this will kind of repurpose the chilled effect, since the chilled effect isn't going to be doing anything. I think those are the only 3 abilities. Alright. Let's go ahead and give it a test, and we'll test all 3. So the damage multiplier should be less. It should be ×2 instead of ×3 now. And also, chilled mobs should be frozen for longer. So in an ideal situation, you'd probably like strike a bunch of enemies, and then yeah, you'd strike a bunch of enemies and then use your ability. So let's see. I'm gonna strike this one. LOL. I forgot explosion. I forgot explosion does a ton of damage. So I'm gonna strike this one. Uh-oh. That just didn't really work. So strike this one. We should see... No? Huh. That is not getting the freezing effect. Or it's not getting the chilled effect. Why is that the case? This should be at 10, right? Yeah, that's at 10. And then... Why is that not applying chilled? Is it because they're supreme? No, it's just not applying. That is very odd. Someone is clawing at my door. And I think it's my dog. So why is that not working? Entity is attacked. Is that the short circuit? Why is that not doing anything? We're equal to 6, yeah. Why is that not working? I don't understand why this isn't working. Johnny messaging me on Discord. LOL. Not sure why this isn't working. Oh, is it because I'm in adventure? Or I'm not in adventure? So let's try a different test. If I hit those two. No, they all thaw out at the same time. This is only doing, yeah, they're only doing one damage. That's funny. Yeah, they're definitely more beefy. So maybe it has something to do with the abilities themselves. Actually, let me just... I need to go back in and do some more tests. I need to figure out, is it even applying the chilled effect at all? Because normally there's a particle for the chilled effect, and I'm not seeing it. And that has me concerned. Okay. They both thaw out at the same time. So this guy... for sure has it. It's not displaying a particle. Which is interesting. Why isn't this... We'll save it. We'll change its particle as snowflake. Maybe that'll do. I don't know why we can't see it. Also, this didn't work. It's still giving the frozen effect, but it's only giving it for to 60. Maybe if else doesn't work. Maybe that'll do. Now let's test. We'll test it with shot punt instead of explosion. We'll just see what happens. Because currently this element is bugged and I want to get it fixed. So, let's see. That seemed like it was longer. Huh? I can't tell what's going on. That would do it, wouldn't it? That would do it. That would explain it. I had the time set to both the same. That would explain it. Alright. So you for sure have chilled. Dang it. That's what you get for testing on. Huh? They're both dying out at the same time. Why is that? Alright, let's reverse this again. Let's change this back. I don't know how if else is supposed to work. To me, it just seems like it doesn't work how I think it should. And I don't know. It's kind of driving me crazy. That's very strange. Why is it? I don't understand. Yes, hitting an entity. That opens this up. What if I just got rid of this entirely? If I drop the bottom one entirely, what happens? So, if I drop the bottom one, that means and it still freezes, it means it's not registering the chilled effect, which I don't know how to get around. So let's just see what happens when this cooldown comes off. If it comes off. That just insta-killed both of them. These guys have a lot more health. It's not registering the effect. Why is that? It's not instant. Are these guys just immune to effects? No, they're not. I don't understand. Why is that not? It's not registering that they have this effect. Maybe I've got this backwards. Maybe this is source entity? That doesn't make sense to me. But let's just test it anyways. See if it figures it out. Because I know projectiles are immediate source entity. So maybe, I don't know. We'll just see. We'll test and see. All right, so if this test works, now both of them freeze. I need to test something. Just get a creeper. I don't know what's happening. So it's not registering that the chilled effect is even working. And I can't see it, no, for sure. It was never working. It was never working to begin with. Mobs don't have elemental XP. That's why. In which case, I should probably check. This is working. But why is this working? Alright. Now let's test it. I think that was the case. I think that was the problem. Mobs don't have the elemental XP. And I forgot to set that to check for the player's XP. Those are player variables. Which I don't know why they're showing up in the data for mobs. That's a problem. I feel like that's gonna cause some issues. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That works now. That's why. So it worked from the beginning, is my guess. But because of that little feature... That's probably what happened. So now, I probably don't even need to go back and change anything else. Now the other abilities I imagine are gonna work. So chilled mobs are gonna be frozen for about 2 extra seconds, which isn't much like extra damage, but that's gonna enable you to do a whole bunch more damage. And I'm being pinged on Discord, hello. Alright, I gotta figure this out. It's probably gonna be the only thing I get done. Because Johnny is beckoning me over. So I'm gonna change particle back. So if I just spawn a bunch here, hit those two, and then hit that one, and then do this. Yeah, that one stays frozen for longer. That's exactly what I wanted. That works. Alright, so... that did... I think creepers have 20 health. So that did... what, 60 damage? Or, not 6, 8 damage? Which, that is the sword. Now, if I give this guy... where is... Frozen Infinite? And then... struck him. Where's his health? Where is health? I can't find it. Oh, here. Wow, that does significantly more. So the last one had 12, that one has 8. Which means that this did 12 damage, which... that's plus 4 damage. That's plus 150%. Yeah, that's 150%. That is working as advertised. Now, if we grabbed another one... and then crit. And then we check its health. That's at 2. Which means that did 18 damage. $18 damage from 8 attack. So that did like a little extra. So that did slightly more than double. Which I find that interesting. How would the math go that would give me 18 damage instead of... I would expect it to be 16. So what if crit was calculated first, then that's 16. Half of 16 is 8, but that would have done 22 damage. So it must have stacked, but then gave me plus 2? Because the frozen damage multiplier is 1.5. So if this is doing 8... so that's doing 8. 8 times... yeah, 8 times 2 is 16. It's getting 2 extra attack damage. Where is it getting that extra 2 from? I'm not sure about that. Plus 6 attack damage. 6 plus 2 is... yeah, 6 plus 2 is 8. Unless it's actually 9. Is it actually 9? What was the first test? So the first test was just normal strike. That did 8 damage though. Second test was with the frozen effect, which was a total of 12. That checks out. Crit with frozen did 18. Let me look at the Minecraft wiki and just see what critical hit does. So critical hit What? I still don't understand. So... Unless the damage what if the damage multiplier is being added on? So let me think. So our base is 8 times 1.5. 8 times 1.5 would be 12. That checks out. 12 plus 6 is... That's what's happening. Critical hit isn't a damage multiplier, it's an additive. It's adding on half, not multiplying. So critical hit is calculated after the initial debuffs. That's why it's 18, because the initial without the crit is 12, and then with the crit it adds on 6, which gives us 18, which is why the creeper's health is at 2. That's why. That's something to note. So it's always gonna add on. It's always gonna add on. It's not... The damage multipliers don't stack, they're added to each other afterwards. So it's gonna calculate, so it calculates the initial damage, the initial damage multiplier, which is done first, and then it adds crit on. See, I thought the crit would stack, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And that's interesting to note. So that explains that. All right. I don't think there's anything, I literally think there isn't anything I can do about that at this point in time. I'm just gonna have to be okay with it. So, max damage with this thing, element of water, or element of ice. Max crit damage on a frozen target is gonna be 12 damage. On a sword, that's 8. Actually, it's gonna be 18 damage. That's crazy. Alright, that's one of the things I wanted to fix. So, the chilled effect now makes the frozen effect last longer. Let me see if there's a way I can implement that. So, yeah, I want to implement this. I want to add this information. Text chill mobs for 3 seconds. Period. Space. Control V. Chilled mobs move slower and are frozen for longer. And then chilled mobs are now affected for 5 seconds. I feel like at level 6... that maybe the freezing duration is longer, but nah. The freezing effect is already pretty powerful as it is. It's a hard freeze. Like, they can't move, they can't attack, they can't do anything. Which makes me think that water should also be able to do something like that to a certain effect. In which case, I'm gonna edit this just slightly. So, elemental power grants water breathing, increased swim speed, and cold immunity. The weakness of fire. I want the players to know that the element of water grants cold immunity in advance before they discover the element of ice. So, I think that's a good place. That's good to leave it off. Oh yeah. I'm basically all out of time. Except Johnny is not online yet. So I think I've got time for one more thing. And that is, I want to check. GUIs. I want overlays. Where are overlays? Miscellaneous. Powdered snow. Interesting. This image is very squished. But when it appears in game, it looks completely normal. How have they done this? My guess is they created a normal resolution image and then just squished it to a square. Because what I'm thinking is I'm thinking of redoing these overlays to be like where it's only the corners. And this was the first thing that came to mind. This is very much the first thing that came to mind. Let's... Nah, I don't have time today. I gotta call it quits here. Well, we got one thing done. We got one of the things on the bucket list done. Which, well, I say bucket list, but... We fixed the element of ice. The Supreme Blaster Tank is very much still very overpowered. And I'm not sure if I should change it or leave it, because there are a lot of other things that I've yet to make, that I would like to make, that the player's gonna have for those encounters. When the player encounters the blaster tank for the first time, they're gonna have these items, which are not currently, I don't have them currently set up. So what I need to figure out is, one, what advantages are those items that I'm thinking of gonna have on this? And two, does this mean that the blaster tank is going to be underpowered compared to what I want? Because I want the blaster tank to, like, I want Supreme class enemies to be a definite, like, no questions asked, this is going to be a hard challenge. Like, 100%. But I don't know. At this point in time, it's too early to say. But we did fix the element of ice. Kind of. We nerfed it a little bit, because the damage multipliers were being applied twice. And that was before crit, so... So, I'm gonna end it here. I gotta get off. I gotta hang out with friends.